Hello class, welcome to the video of the circulatory system. And as you see, I have page 35 and page 36 laid out in front of me. The reason that I told you guys not to worry about cutting this so far is because one, it makes it easier for you to color, and two, there was some more definition that we were going to add to the picture. So if you can tell on here, I have added arrows to the arteries and veins, which shows the way that the blood moves into and out of the heart. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to my paper. Yes, I had to redo it. And I'm only going to put glue on the side strips because that's what the strips tell me to do, so that I'll have the ability to write up under my foldable, okay? Or a graphic organizer, whichever one you want to call it. So I have this in, and now that I have colored the information, I can go ahead and slide my scissors up under here in order to cut it apart, okay? And I'm only going to cut on the solid lines up to the dotted line here, because that way I'll be able to pull it back and open it up there and do the same on that side. Now I gotta turn my book just a little bit in order to do it on this side here, okay? So what information are we going to put up under these flaps, okay? And we are going to discuss the parts of the heart, so let me grab a handy dandy color that would be useful. And I'm going to possibly add some light to the situation, so that way you can see it better. Oh, excuse me, I'm a little tired. Okay. Now, I write at kind of an angle. Okay. So the information that we are going to use, or that we are going to use for this wonderful foldable, okay. Like I said, we are discussing the circulatory system. And this is located in your circulatory system folder on Schoology, okay? This side here is your left side, so we're going to put an L here. And this side is your right side, okay? When you're discussing the circulatory system, one of the things that we need to understand is the purpose of the circulatory system, okay? Your circulatory system is designed to transport blood away and to the body, okay? And it does this by the contractions of the heart, which is what helps cause the blood to flow to the heart and from the heart, okay? It carries nutrients and glucose from the small intestines in the digestive system to the body. The circulatory system also carries oxygen from the lungs, which is part of the respiratory system, to the body, and carbon dioxide away from the body cells to the lungs. Blood also carries urea or waste from the blood cells to the kidneys, which is the excretory system. Your hormones travel through the blood to target cells, which is a part of the endocrine system. And your white blood cells help you to fight diseases, which is part of the immune system. So when we're talking about all the different systems that work together, your circulatory system pretty much works with all other systems. Okay, now if you're looking at your picture of the heart, right, this area here, you see that you have blue parts and you have red parts of your heart. Now, one of the misconceptions is that when our blood is inside of our body, it is blue. That is not true. Okay, your blood inside of your body as well as outside of your body is always going to be red. Okay, so get that out of your mind. We use the color red and blue in order for you to be able to see what we're talking about and give it definition so that you understand. Excuse me. So it says the heart is made up of cardiac muscles, which is part of the muscular system, that contract and relax involuntary. So you don't have anything to do with your heart pumping. It's an involuntary muscle, and those contractions help push blood through your heart to the rest of your body. Okay, so with our areas that are colored in red, all of that is going to the body. Okay, it's going to the body via your arteries. When your heart relaxes and blood goes from the rest of your body into the heart, it is all of the blue areas is blood coming into the heart to be pumped out of the body. Okay, so we want to think of our heart as really it's a pump. All right, you want to think of your heart as a pump at all times, because your heart is constantly pumping. Whether even if you're relaxing, your heart is doing its job in order to pump blood to the different parts of your body. Okay, so let us go ahead and fill out these areas. So we are going to start with the top left corner. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and write it here on the paper. All right, and for some reason I think my paper is upside down, which I don't like. Let's see. Yeah, it does look upside down to me, but it's okay, because here we go. Gonna start with the left. So for the left, it says oxygenated blood, from the lungs flows into the left atrium, through the pulmonic veins. Okay, so that's our left side. All right, blood is going to flow in through the atrium oxygenated blood from the lungs is going to flow in through the left atrium through the pulmonic veins. Now on your right side, you have deoxygenated blood and deoxygenated means blood that lacks oxygen. From the body flows into the right atrium through the superior vena cava. Okay. And then down here on this flap, we have the deoxygenated blood moves through the tricuspid valve into, oh, and I think I got this wrong. I think I should have put it on this side, but we are going to continue. Right ventricle, which then forces the blood out of the heart to the lungs through the pulmonic arteries. Okay, and then here you have the oxygenated blood. And remember, these are mixed up, so you want to switch them. The oxygenated blood moves through the mitral valve into the left ventricle, which then forces the blood out of the heart to the body through the aorta. Okay? And I don't like this glue because it doesn't stick, but this is what I have at home today. So this is what I'm gonna use. Alright. Okay, so now you have finished your parts of the heart foldable. Alright. So you have your left ventricle, your right ventricle, your left atrium, and your right atrium. All of those are parts of your heart. Okay? And now we are going to go to the 3 types of circulation. Okay? And the 3 types of circulation, again, you are talking about oxygenated blood coming into the heart from the lungs, and oxygenated blood going out to different parts of the body, different cells within the body. And then that blood, the CO2 blood going into the heart, as well as CO2 blood coming out of the heart, going into the lungs to be pumped out of the body. Okay, so these are our 3 types of circulation. And again, you would want to go ahead and color that. Now you are going to color your oxygenated blood, your O2 blood. You are going to make sure that you color that red as it comes into the body and goes into different other parts. And then your carbon oxide blood, you are going to color that blue. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick coloring here. To go ahead and again, we did not cut these yet, so it made it easier for us to color across the flaps. Okay. You end up having to turn your book, but hey, that's fine. Okay. And again, this is giving us the ability to be able to see exactly what we are working with. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It could be real quick. You just want a visual. And we always think that, you know, this is a little over our head, but it's not. Alright. See, and it's always good to know about the circulatory system, because once we get older, we are going to, and I'm not that old, so once we get older, we are going to have to know all about our blood type and how our body helps to, how our blood cells, you know, help to fight different diseases in our body. Our white blood cells are what does that. Okay, so we have our deoxygenated blood, and then up top you have your oxygenated blood, which we are going to color red. And usually I pause the video and come back and all this is colored in, but I'm trying something new. Kind of feel like I'm rambling, but it's okay. And if you notice, I'm not using markers because I don't want it to bleed through my paper. But if that's what you have, that's fine too. Just use them lightly. Now you could definitely go through and color the lungs and also color the cell, but really the most important thing to know is the types of circulation, okay? So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut these. And there are 3 types of circulation. At this level, it's just important to know what they are, okay? To know the 3 types of circulation. So we are going to start with what's called pulmonary circulation, okay? And pulmonary circulation, your pulmonary arteries, they carry deoxygenated blood to the lungs in order to release carbon dioxide, and the pulmonary veins carries oxygenated blood back to the heart, okay? So your pulmonary arteries are carrying deoxygenated blood from the lungs, carrying deoxygenated blood to the lungs to release carbon dioxide. So here you see that deoxygenated blood coming into the lungs here to be released, and your pulmonary veins are carrying blood back to the heart. So one of the key things that you need to notate is that your veins carry blood to the heart and your arteries carry blood away from the heart, okay? So somewhere we are going to these are our veins. Am I spelling that right? E. Veins. And these are your arteries. Okay? All right. So, under here, this is pulmonary. And so that would be pulmonary circulation, okay? And again, your pulmonary arteries, or artery, carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs to release carbon dioxide, or CO2, and the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay. Now we have what's called coronary circulation. And coronary circulation just states that arteries and veins supply the heart with blood. Okay? Arteries and veins supply the heart with blood. Okay? So coronary circulation occurs in the heart. That's where your coronary circulation is going to occur. And last but not least, you have what's called systemic circulation, okay? And your systemic circulation, your arteries bring oxygenated blood to body cells. And those body cells include things like your stomach cells and your muscle cells and any of those cells within the body that require blood in order for it to work properly, okay, which would be all of your body cells. So to body cells and veins return deoxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay, so you have systemic, coronary, pulmonary. PCS. Pulmonary, coronary, systemic. Okay. And the last portion of this video is going to talk about what is in your blood. So inside of the blood, you have platelets, you have plasma, and you have cells, okay? This all flows through your veins and through your arteries all at the same time. They all do different things for the body, for the blood, for the circulatory system, okay? So you have different types of cells. You have white blood cells, and you have red blood cells. Your plasma is this watery part of the blood that carries all of your nutrients. And then the platelets is what helps your blood to clot when you get a cut or when you get injured. So we are going to take a moment, and you can color this in. The circles here, I would color them red because those are red blood cells. This right here, this one You see this one right here? That is considered a platelet. So I would just color those like that. But we're going to go ahead and cut them up. And now you won't be able to cut these up in class. So just make sure that you cut along the solid lines when you get home. Okay. And we are going to start with our platelets. And your platelets are cell fragments that help in the process of clotting blood after injury. Okay, so when you get that little scab over there, all that scab is built up platelets that crust over in order to help the body heal. Okay, then you have your plasma, and plasma is the watery part of the blood that carries nutrients, minerals, oxygen to cells and carries waste and carbon dioxide away. Okay, now you might hear that people go and they donate their blood plasma from time to time. So that is very helpful in science, in the medical field, in order to help people get better. Okay, now under cells you have white blood cells, so we're going to do WBC for white blood cells. And your white blood cells help to protect the body from foreign invaders. Okay, so white blood cells help protect the body from foreign invaders. All right. And then you have your red blood cells, so we're going to do RBC. Your red blood cells are made in the bone marrow and they carry oxygen to body cells using iron containing protein called hemoglobin. Okay, now, interesting thing, sometimes when you hear people say that their iron is low, okay, or that they are anemic, they are talking about their red blood cells and their hemoglobin. All right, when your hemoglobin is low, your body is not able to function properly, causing you to feel tired, or causing you to feel lethargic or weak a lot. So that is just saying that your red blood cells are not operating, the way that they should. Your red blood cells should be these nice, plump little cells that float throughout your body. And when your iron is low, they could look like little shriveled up raisins. It's kind of crazy. So, but those are the 3 foldables that we have for the circulatory system. Okay, and for my avid kiddos, you can go ahead and create your coronal note paper. Okay. You can write your summary down here at the bottom. Now, your summary should be based on what we learned in the video or what was discussed in the video, and you can create your own essential question. I'm going to tell Ms. Caligari that I gave you guys the opportunity to create your own essential question. So you can go ahead and write that across the top, or give yourself some space since we didn't have that much here, and write your essential question in this area right here. Okay, and make sure that it deals with something that relates to the circulatory system. You can talk about veins, you can talk about arteries, you can talk about how blood flows to and away from the heart, and what does that mean? Why do we say that blood is blue, or why do we say that blood is red? Whatever you feel that your essential question needs to be for this unit. So I look forward to seeing you later, and hopefully this video helped you to understand more about the heart and the circulatory system.